Hello. Are we live and functioning and good? Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel for my portion of the Mo and Friends Beauty Crawl. Thank you to Mo for organizing this as always. I'm super excited. I have been doing some swatch parties of my various colors of eyeshadow. Like for all of the lives. I'm sorry, I have been in a mentally weird place like all day. Like I legit was just like zoning out watching people's live streams, and then it was like 6:05 and I was like, shit, I haven't put on any makeup. So that's why my face looks like this. I don't know if this is a cohesive look, but hey, I am here. So I've been doing a color series on various colors of eyeshadow, and today is red day, so that's what we're going to do. I swear to God, I have words. So thank you to everyone coming over from Gabby's stream. I was watching that. All of those damn blushes were absolutely fantastic. I'm a natural blush person, but she was mentioning the nude flush, and since I was getting ready during that stream, that's what I'm wearing on my face, because it is absolutely fantastic. Milani Nude Flush, 10 out of 10 would recommend. So I love red eyeshadow. I don't own that much of it just because I think it's hard to find a properly good red eyeshadow. I know everyone raves over Sugar Pill Love Flush, or Love Plus, sorry. But I don't own that one. I don't actually own that much Sugar Pill makeup, but I do have a Sugar Pill palette that I'm going to be including in this. You're so ready for this. I love that. That is a very good joke. I appreciate the pun. So we're going to get into all of our Gerard Way realness here for this live stream. Saffron by Ace Beauté. I only own one Ace Beauté palette, so I'm going to have to check that out. But let us begin. So I'm going to begin with what's on my eyes right now, which is the Drench Cosmetics Cosmic Oasis palette. And half of the reason I bought this palette is for these beautiful, beautiful reds up top. I'm only wearing this one, which is a little bit more red. And then there's this one, which is a little bit more pink. I was just feeling, for like the color of my shirt, I would go a little bit more red, all of that. So let's go ahead and get these swatched. I really love Drench Cosmetics. I did not anticipate loving this palette as much as I did, but holy shit, look at this pigmentation. Absolutely iconic. And I'm going to swatch these. So this is what they look like. I think these perform so well. I'm definitely go for a more reddy red as opposed to a pinky red. That's just a personal preference, but I definitely see like the need for both. Like you can blend this one out with this one. It looks super, super nice. It is so great. I also realized I forgot to mention in my introduction that I do have some Black Lives Matter resources in my description, because Black lives still matter. They always will. And so the resources that I've included today, one is from a church called Trinity Wall Street that is in New York City that has a lot of good anti-racism resources that you can check out. They're very accessible for basically all sorts of different learning levels in that regard. I have been to a couple conferences at Trinity, and I think they do a very good job of kind of breaking things down and making them very accessible. So I've always been a fan of theirs. And the other resource that I'm including is an organization that's actually had an impact on my own life, which is Soul Force. And that is an organization that works for the rights of LGBT people of color in the Bible Belt South, with a specific focus on ending white Christian supremacy. And as someone who is a Christian who believes in the message of Jesus, but not in an evangelistic kind of way, but more in a we should all love each other and sabotage all forms of oppression sort of way, I found their resources to be absolutely fantastic. They are a great organization that works for the rights of queer and trans people of color, and you should absolutely check them out. I've been to a few of their events. They do a queer vacation Bible school every summer and do lots of cool things like that while also doing amazing, amazing activist work. So I truly, truly highly recommend. So that is my go check out my description box spiel. Now let's get back into some more eyeshadow. So I wanted to include this palette that has been long discontinued, sadly. It's from Strobe Cosmetics, which is now Shroud Cosmetics, but this is the first thing I ever tried from that brand. They made an American Horror Story collection, which, like, hello, that was absolutely made for me. And so they have two palettes, the Freak Show palette and the Hotel palette. They don't make these anymore, but I have the Hotel palette right here. And this is what that looks like. It is all shimmers. And these are some of the best shimmers I've ever tried. And then they have this shade, which is called Addiction Demon, named after the monster in the show. So I was actually reading up on American Horror Story seasons like last night because honestly, after Hotel, I kind of fell off of it. Just because Roanoke really just thoroughly did not appeal to me. It did not catch me. But look at that beautiful metallic burgundy. These are so like gorgeously pigmented. This is what made me really trust Shroud as a brand, since this was before Creepy Cute, before a lot of the singles that they have right now. And they're fantastic. And Gabby, I absolutely agree. Asylum was the best season. Coven is a close second, but I think that might be because I like the aesthetic. And Murder House is actually really good too, but I can't watch it again because they did do such a good job of doing Murder House that I'm like, I'm really okay with only having seen this once. I'm fine. I don't need to watch that again. But yeah, I love their shimmer formula. I think Shroud just makes very, very good eyeshadow, and it's just... And I also really loved Freak Show. I would really like, if I might try and figure out a way to do some twisty makeup for Halloween this year, if I can figure out how to do the details in a way that I would like. So now, Festival by Juvia's Place. I'm not going to say I'm not a fan of Juvia's Place because they make really good, solid shadows, but I just don't know of a lot of color stories from them that thoroughly appeal to me. And case in point is the fact that I literally bought this palette for this red eyeshadow. Now, I like the other colors. All of the shades in this palette perform really, really well. But the red is what I bought this for because at the time I got this, I didn't really have any red shadows. And now I do, and like now there's a wide variety, but this one is still really solid. This is the shade Izafa, and I think that it is great. I absolutely I have now come to realize that I really love the orange and the pink and the teal, but the red is my favorite out of all of them. So let's just go ahead and swatch that one too. This is really nice. And I think Juvia's Place makes good quality stuff. They don't have, it's always I like about half the colors in the palettes that they make. You know what I mean? I did hear that they discontinued their Tribe palette, which would have been probably about the other palette that I was actually considering buying from them at some point. So that might be a mistake. I don't know. A blue mini of theirs would be great. I would love to try some of their minis because I do like their kind of condensed monochromatic ones. I know they made a purple one, which I think they made that for me. So yeah, but that is what Izafa is looking like. It is just such a nice pigmented red. I think that this is a very good sort of beginner red, if that makes sense, because I think Juvia's Place shadows are not quite as creamy as I normally like super pigmented like Menagerie, which I realized didn't have my Menagerie Dragon Chow palette. That's upstairs. That one has a good red too. But I think if you're not someone who likes a more buildable, colorful shadow and wants to try more buildable red, the Juvia's Place red palettes or red shadow can really work well for you. So that's kind of what I would recommend on that regard. Oh my God, Sharon, wash the acid off your face. That be safe. Melt Muerte. So half this palette is reds. I feel like I always bring this palette out for everything. And I think that's with good reason because it's fucking fantastic. So let's get these three reds in here. They have Velorio, Sangre, and Corazon. Corazon is my favorite just because I prefer a little bit more of a vivid red, but they have some very nice, like, it's like the other two almost go very brown, but they are just really beautiful and pigmented. So this is Velorio, Sangre, and Corazon. So you can see that nice little gradient. One of the things that I really like that Melt does is that they create great gradients in a lot of their palettes. So you can really see where all of the mattes are going to blend together super well. And even if the formula is a little bit more difficult, I find that the color stories themselves work quite well to be able to like blend things on top of each other, deepen it up really easily, things like that. So I'm really upset that they discontinued that because I have a lot of Melt palettes and I do like all of them for the most part, except for that one teal in Radioactive, because yes, it's what I use in my brows. It's awful to blend on the eyes and I'm very picky about my teals. So they shouldn't have discontinued this one. It is fucking fantastic. It's glorious. Okay. Now I actually only have 3 palettes left. They should make that a holiday re-release. 2020 has been absolute garbage, and Melt could save the day by re-releasing Barrymore Eterno collection. Isn't Eterno, like, that's eternal in English, which means forever, which means he should have kept this shit out forever, Melt. I'm just saying. Yeah, we should get some dupes for that Melt. I might see if I can pull anything out of my collection. So let's see. I have some more. Well, let's get into my one sugar pill shade, and then we'll get to my 2 like problematic palette picks. So I have the Sugar Pill Fun Size palette, and this was my kind of first introduction into Sugar Pill shadows, which I know that this isn't their standard shadow formula. I've since bought Buttercup Cake and Acid Berry, and they're pretty nice. Like, they're not my favorite shadow formula of all time, but they work. But this is honestly probably my favorite pastel palette because it's really vivid. I've said this before and I'll say it again on my channel. I don't like pastels on myself. I don't feel like they work very well. I have to do a lot of working and pairing it with a lot of darker colors in order to make it to work. But since this one is so vivid, I am able to get this to work a lot better. So the one red shade in here is Game Over. And I think that this is just really, really nice. If you are like, if this is a color story that you're interested in, I think the shadow quality is really great. This is like a very orangey, warm toned red, as opposed to a lot of the other reds that I am showing. Like, yeah, it almost like leans orange in a way. But I think that this is very like if you hate pastels on yourself and you prefer more vivid colors, but you like the idea of wearing pastels, this is a very, very, very good palette for you because I hate pastels on myself. And I like the Creepy Cute palette objectively because objectively it is a great palette. I just never wear it, but I'm keeping it forever and ever on them. So... So I have 2 problematic palettes, but I had to include both of them because I do really get a lot of use out of them. So first one, as I believe Gabby dubbed it, Cancel Pop, the X's and O's palette. I got this around Christmas last year. I was in Ulta and I wanted to get enough stuff to get a coupon, and I really like this palette color scheme because it's very basic. Which I think it's great. It's great. I love it so much. Like this is firmly like a good neutral to me palette. It's not very neutral. It's very rosy, but it's a very neutral work sort of palette for me. So I like sort of pinky, purpley, reddy shades when I'm trying to do something neutral. And this, I think, has a lot of nice colors and textures. Now, these aren't strictly red, but I did really want to include them because they have some very, very nice shimmers. So I'll start with Easy Go up here, which is just so pretty. I love, I love the quality of all of the shades from this palette. I know ColourPop shadows don't work for everyone, but I think, like, just looking at that really nice shimmer, I think that this one is very good quality. I find that these are pretty easy to work with. You can get like very nice work appropriate looks, but I think this is also a really nice like Valentine's Day palette, hence X's and O's. So it's great. And now, like I said, most of these aren't strictly red, but let's go in with Hooky and, well, let's do all three of these because this one's a burgundy, but I'm not counting it as a red. So it's Hooky, Reckless, and Realness. And honestly, I love like blending Realness into my crease and just doing Reckless all over my lid and just creating like a very, very nice smoky sort of all matte eye look. Actually, I meant to mention this earlier, like ColourPop's mattes don't swatch the greatest, but they blend very nicely on me. But one of the things that I actually wanted to mention, one of my favorite ways to wear red eyeshadow, especially when I was first getting into it, I like to do what I call the Bucky Barnes smoky eye. And I haven't done it quite as much recently, and I know it's not flattering on everyone, but I have like fucking kawaii anime gigantic eyes, so I think that works well for me. So what I do for my Bucky Barnes smoky eye, so for example, if I was to use the Cosmic Oasis palette, what I really like to do is I would take a matte black and just smudge that all over my lid up until probably about where my cut crease starts. And like same on my lower lash line, and just take a red eyeshadow on a blending brush and blend all around the edge. And it is like, it's very edgy, very Avril Lavigne, very Bucky Barnes, but I think that it looks incredibly cool. I love how it makes me so happy. So if you are a fan of that sort of smoky eye and don't just want to do just like a straight up black everywhere and you're looking to try some more red eyeshadow, I 10 out of 10 recommend doing something like that. Because then you could also pair it with like, well, I'll usually just do like a gloss or maybe even a black lipstick if I'm feeling like extra. But that's what I had to mention, because that's basically how I got into wearing red eyeshadow, because I wasn't sure with my eye color how flattering red would be. I've since stopped giving a fuck about how red eyeshadow looks. I think that it does genuinely look really good, but I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I love it. Okay, and onto the last red palette. So this one is also from a canceled brand. Okay, good. I was really worried. I just got swatches on my face from like leaning. So this is from another canceled brand, but this is a palette I'm never going to get rid of. And I feel the need to defend now because like I know Modern Renaissance. I know that this isn't everyone's cup of tea, and I know that everyone is thinking that it's so great when it came out, but I feel like I'm the only person who thought that it was really great when it came out, and I still think it's really great. I know it doesn't work for everybody, but as you can see, I have been an absolute menace to this palette. And I know there's actually, looking back on it, there's only one red in there. One like, well, and it's even more like a brown. It's the shade Red Ochre here. But, sorry, I hope you didn't hear my dryer go off in the background. But I still stan this palette. I don't stan the brand, but I stan this palette. Well, the palettes I have, like this one and the Jackie Aina, and I'm a subculture apologist too. So let me go ahead and swatch Red Ochre. And ooh, Bethany, you just depotted your ABH. So that actually reminds me. I'm thinking of depotting my self-made palette because I tried to pan that this year and it just wasn't happening because there are truly some shades that I can't I just can't with. So that's red ochre there. Obviously, it leans into more burgundy brown sort of shade, but I really like it. I like those sorts of shades on myself. But I'm thinking of depotting my self-made palette because there's about like, there's a good number of shades in there that I really like about 7 or 8 of them, but it's a 14 pan palette. So there are definitely a lot of shades that I really don't like. Oh my God, the dryer is going off again. So I really just kind of want to take it apart so that way I can get shades like Pink Champagne, there's shade Treasure, Deep Purple, and a few others that I really like and I find really flattering on myself. And I can just get rid of the ones that like irk me, because there's just what looks like it's going to be a really cute little like light bluey green in there. That looks like it's going to be really bright when you put it on, but when you put it on, it's like not at all. And then there's like a black shade with pink micro glitter in it, which looks really cool in the pan, and I thought was really cool when I bought it when it released in 2015. It's 2020. Mattes with micro glitter don't do jack shit for me. So like there's like those examples of shades, and then there's like a nice little icy pink that is kind of along the same lines of the like light bluey green shade that you expect to look really cool in the eyes, and then it just kind of doesn't. So there are a lot of shades that I really like out of it. I just want to keep those shades and depot the others to friends who might like it more. So that is my plan. I've never actually depotted a palette before, so I know a few folks have tutorials, so I'm going to try that. I might film that disaster piece because we all know that's not going to go as I anticipated going. But, you know, it would be great entertainment for y'all, I think. It'll be a great little bit of chaos for y'all. So if that is something that you're interested in, once I get the guts to do it, I will. I'm not depotting any of my other ABH palettes because I think like Modern Renaissance, Jackie Aina, Alyssa Edwards, Subculture, all of those I like just about every shade in, but the self-made one, I think in my panning of it, I've realized that there are some shades that I just truly don't like and I'm not going to use and I'm not going to pan, so I should just keep the ones that I want and send the others away to a friend. So those are all of my red eyeshadows, just because I'm debating on whether I should actually get Sugar Pill Love Plus, because I'm pretty content with my red eyeshadow collection. You know, like I said, Gerard Way realness. You know, this is all really lovely. I like how this turns out. Yeah, I like a nice wide range of reds. I think a lot of people should experiment more with red eyeshadow because so many of us think that it's like, I don't know. I think that was like the one thing that I had never tried that once I did. I was like, oh shit, I really can do anything if I want to. So if you really want to get out of your comfort zone, 10 out of 10 recommend just put on some fucking red eyeshadow. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Ain't nobody gonna see your face. Just slap it all on. It is makeup. It'll wash off if you don't like it. So that's my advice of being the enabler friend who says, do the fucking thing. You'll do fine. You'll do fine. And if you don't like it, you know that you don't like it. So, okay, I have about 6 minutes left. I'm generally all out of talking points, and it's good to know that the red from Muerte is better than Love Plus, which is nice, because honestly, like I said, those Sugar Pill singles were like, okay. Like, I view them in the same way that I view Juvia's Place shadows, like, good quality. But I'm not, it takes a lot for me to want to go out and properly get it, you know? So it's good. That is where I'm at. So everyone on the stream has given a secret fruit tonight. Secret fruit. And mine is blackberries. So I chose it because when I was growing up in the middle of nowhere, rural Virginia, my family has a shit ton of blackberry bushes all over the property. And my dad and I, every single summer, when I lived back home, we would go blackberry picking together. And even now on non-pandemic summers, when we see each other, he'll give me like a big old Tupperware thing of fresh blackberries for me to bake with. So we're in Virginia, kind of on the Buckingham-Appomattox border. Well, it's in the middle of Appomattox, Buckingham State Forest. So very middle of nowhere, like no internet, no cell signal type of place. But it is, blackberries are absolutely a thing of summer, to the point where as an adult, if I go to the grocery store and I look in the fruit section, blackberries, the size of them, since I have seen blackberries grow in the wild, store-bought blackberries freak me the fuck out, because a normal blackberry is like around this big, and a store-bought blackberry is around this big. And so when I look at that, I'm like, I still consume it because I like blackberries, but I just become a little bit concerned. Like, these are significantly larger than the ones I have actually seen grown in the wild. So that's a little bit disconcerting. But it's still great. It was fun. We make blackberry juice, blackberry cobbler, blackberry roll, blackberry muffins. All of the blackberry things are just, yeah. Fefy, that is a good idea. I should actually look into a farmer's market near me, because I moved back in the beginning of the pandemic and all of that. So I haven't actually researched farmers markets near me. So that might be a way of me to get normal sized blackberries that don't freak me the fuck out. So fun fact, I'm scared of store-bought blackberries. Anyway, the next person up is going to be Bethany of Bethany SchmidtEsthetics. I am super excited to see what she's going to do. I have always really enjoyed her content. So I know that it's about 2 minutes sooner, but I think we can end this, and I'll see y'all over on Bethany's stream. Bye!